start. We're also recording this session today. All right. I'm going to wait, like I said, 30 more seconds left, and then we're going to be starting, guys. I don't know if there's any. Okay, I'm going to start, guys. When I ask a question, please, everybody unmute yourself. I would like, especially from everyone, some input. We would love to see you guys. You can be turning on your cameras. I know you got used to it from school now that you're ghosting everybody. I get that. And hopefully, we just want to make sure you guys are paying attention and understanding and learning. This is an important subject. Communication for different positions. We're going to start with keeper. And I put my communication I use as a player, as a coach, but I would like you guys to input what you would say. So none of these lists are complete lists. So you know, these are lists of things that I use a lot, and I can put a lot more things in here. But I wanted to put just the general terms, and I wanted to have us some time and space for us to discuss what you guys thought would be good. Okay, so we're gonna start this now, and if anybody else comes in, I'm gonna allow them to come in. Can everybody see this right? Clearly? Good. So communication for different positions. This is important. We're gonna start with goalkeepers. Push up, no shot, slide, cover back post, man on, keep, drop, cover center. These are like some common ones that we use. And if you are a keeper, I would recommend it highly for you guys to actually write these down. These are something that you guys should be regularly using in game situations. But other than this, and I'm going to be touching the subject real quick. When do we use push up? When do we use no shot? When do we use slide? But other than this, when do you think, let's just say, let's go with this actually first. When do we say the push up?
When there's a corner cleared and we want to push up as a team.
When we clear the ball.
Yes.
You were right. When we clear the ball up, we are already moving up, and we want to make sure that we communicate that push up. So when we say push up, that is not talking about just the defenders, guys. Every single player needs to be getting out of the box when a keeper says push up. The reason behind that is to keep everybody offside that is on the other team, and also step so high suddenly that we can start an attack, we can block a shot, we can give no space to the players who has the ball on the other team. So this simple word, 2 words like push up, is critical, absolutely critical for keepers. Unfortunately, they don't use it as much. Anywhere else, we say push up. Any other time. For keeper, when what else should he say push up? Anyone?
If he sees any gaps between the back line and the midfield.
Or as a team, we need to push up more because they are playing the ball in their back, the other team's defense, and we are behind 1-0. And the keeper is obviously wanting, hey, what are you guys doing in my half? Like, we're trying to get back at them. So push up, the whole team, push up. So that's a good part to use it. What about no shot? Why would a goalie say no shot?
Because he sees a player about to take a shot and no one is like everyone is giving him space, so he wants his players to block that shot or give him no opportunity to take a shot.
Very good. But the moment of that no shot moment is very critical. That means that the defenders might not see it, but the keeper sees that the player sees the shot. So that's a critical moment. So sometimes defenders think that they're covering it, but the keeper needs to recognize that, hey, he sees the corner. I don't like it. No shot means now the defender is aware, hey, I need to cover that. I'm not covering, I'm not doing a great job. The keeper still sees the shot. So that communication right there is critical for us to actually make sure that we're maybe stepping up a little bit higher, or we're getting the angle a little bit better. We need to check our goal, make sure we know where the goal is to covering that goal, and it's critical. No shot is a very good communication. Like I said, it needs to be used at the right moment, though. What about slide? He's talking about slide tackles. Does he want everybody to do slide tackles inside the box? When a keeper uses slide, what does he want?
He means like shift or slide towards where the ball is going. Go to the other side.
Exactly. Rafa, amazing answers. Thank you. But anybody else? What up, girls? You guys want to be quiet? Anybody else? Ramon, anybody else? Jump in, guys, please. So slide is critical because when we say slide, that means that the whole team is not moving as a team. When the attack is coming from the right side, we want to make sure the whole defensive line, if you guys can see my hand, we need to be moving like this. So when a part of your team is moving and the other one stays on the other side, there is a gap in the middle. And that's exactly where they're going to use to score against you. Does that make sense? You see the two ends, and we're moving as a team together. But if the ball goes to the right side and half of my defense goes that way and the other one is marking people on here, they leave the center wide open, and that's when you're in trouble. So it's critical when we say slide, we need to slide as a team. All right, keeper yells, cover back post.
So the forward from the other team is about to take a shot, and you want to the defense wants to cut off the option of the back post.
Okay, very good. That could be used two different things. You're warning the defender to block that cross because you see an opening in the back post, or you see a couple players open in the back post and you're letting your outside backs to come back or the defenders to mark that area, right? So easiest goals in a cross is back post. For a keeper, the biggest weakness keeper has is the back post. Why? Because if the cross or the shooter is from, let's just say it's from the left side, right? He needs to cover the front post because a possible shot or a bad cross, he needs to be able to get that. So he leaves the back post open, he has to. So keepers need to be aware of back posts in a cross on a corner and need to make sure that they are keeping all the players aware of that communication. So it needs to be both ways. Blocking the cross and making people aware there is open players in the back post. Does that make sense, guys? You can say yes. You can write yes in the chat. You can say, thumbs up, whatever you want to do. All right. So what about man on? When a keeper says man on.
He's telling a player that someone's about to press him, so they know.
Exactly. So it's critical, right? Because a lot of times we don't use this communication because like we see the right back is trying to do a move or he wants to dribble, but we see in his blind spot a player is coming. So if he tries to dribble, that could cause him problems. So what do? We want to make sure that we communicate with the player and tell him man on, so he is aware that he cannot be dribbling. he needs to make sure he gets rid of that ball, or he passes it wide, or he drops it somebody. Keeper says keep. We've been talking about this week in training about this.
It's keeper's ball.
Keeper's ball. So what does that do? What does that communication do for the keeper and for the defenders and for the rest of the team?
They're not having you go up to the ball, so they don't steal it from the goalie.
Okay. That's good. You're talking about your teammates?
Yeah, but it's like if the goalie's trying to go to the ball, they say keep.
Okay. So the keep communication, when the keeper says keep and he comes out, gets that, there is several things that is happening. One, he's scaring off the forwards. When a keeper comes out with his hands and his knee up, he's gonna knock somebody's teeth out. So when he's coming out, the forward is like, oh, I better not get in there. But a keeper is quiet. He doesn't even say anything. As a forward, if I'm there, I'll be like, I'm all over this. I'm gonna score a goal on this guy. I'm gonna jump over him. But when a keeper comes confidently, keep, loud and demanding, it's scary. They're not gonna get into it as much. They're gonna be doing a lot better job getting that ball. Two, you're communicating with your defense. So the defense knows that you're coming out. So one of them should cover you just in case there's an accident. You missed the ball or somebody hits it before you. So they should cover you. Also, when you say keep, they can block the players from attacking you, right? So it's communicating to your defense and to the other team at the same time. And the most important about this keep, it shows confidence and it brings self-belief to yourself. When you speak out loud like that and coming out of the 6 yard, saying keep that loud, you are the man. You are the lady. You are the one that we're counting on, right? So we can see that. The coach is confident that, all right, I got the keeper there. I got a keeper. That's critical, guys. I see some chats. Is there anything I need to know about the chat, Jeff? I see they're saying some stuff. They're just confirming or?
Yeah, nothing.
I got
Just
it.
coming there.
Okay. All right. So this is a risky one, right? Keeper says drop. Why would you use that? And why? What does that mean for a keeper? Speak up, guys. You don't speak in like 6 seconds, Rafa takes over.
Should I say it?
All the girls are just messaging. They're not wanting to speak out loud.
Yeah, no, Kylie got it covered, kind of.
What did she say?
She said, pass the ball to the outside of the goal, not near or in front of the goal, so there aren't any accidental slip-ups.
Exactly. Good. But we are asking the reason. Why would a goalie ask that? No goalie wants a drop, really.
Right.
When would we need this?
He sees the attack coming towards his defenders.
Yep.
So he knows they
Sees the
don't have an
pressure.
option to go forward.
Or he or she sees another option wide open, and if you drop it, you can open the game for them. Just like a center mid would ask it. We'll get to that. But we want to open the game. So if he sees opportunity, but it's a good thing Kylie said. We want to make sure we drop it. If you're going to drop the ball towards your goalie, don't drop it towards the goal. Drop it outside the posts. So if there's an accidental like miss kick, it's not going to go in the goal. Does that make sense? All right, cover the center. Cover the center. What is that?
It's like a defender's drifting away. You have a good eyesight if there's any gaps, because those are where lots of goals are scored in between the center backs.
Exactly. And honestly, Ajit, you're a center back for the semi-pro team. How many of these communications do you hear from your keeper constantly?
Not enough.
Not enough. Which ones are the ones that you hear and which ones you haven't heard at all? I'm curious.
Regis hasn't come in a while, but I can like it feels different playing because he's just like he's on it right away.
Mhm.
So that causes me to be more alert as well.
But what did you hear? What do you hear from our coaches or Rafa or whoever, defenders? What do you hear from your keepers? Any of these, but you don't hear it from rest of the players or the rest of the stuff you don't hear at all. Like, have you ever heard your goalie say no shot? Have you ever heard your goalie said slide? Have you ever heard your goalie say man on? Have you ever heard him say drop? Those are the things I'm asking.
Not enough. Could be more.
Okay. Jeff, what do you think?
I mainly have only heard no shot.
Okay.
I've heard push up a few times,
Okay.
but that's about,
That's about it.
what I've heard.
So our communication from keepers, which could make the keepers a lot better goalies. Communication makes them more confident. Communication makes the defense more aware. Everything, it will look better. Everything will look better by communication. So communication is a big subject. I know this is not exciting, like we're not looking at the board and stuff. This is a very important subject. All right, we're moving on. Defense. Simple ones, right? Simple ones. We already covered slide. Cover me. When would the defender say cover me?
When he steps.
When he steps, because he sees that there is a player dribbling from the midfield. He wants to step to that ball, especially a center back. He needs to tell him, cover me. So the other two comes back to the center to cover him. So we need to make sure we communicate that. The right and left center backs, they don't necessarily have to say it because the center back already sees it happening, right? But if he says it, it's a plus. But a center back communicating is a must. Center back cannot just take off. The guy in the race center, what the Italians call the libero, the brain of the defense, the leader of the defense, maestro of the defense, that guy has to say cover me if he's gonna go. We talk about step. Again, I step is the same thing as cover me. I step, I step. That means that, hey, I'm stepping, so you better get my back. Those are the same thing. Cover me and I step, I step. Okay. Drop. So now this is interesting. Now the drop here means two different things. Okay. I want two different defenders to answer this. How about we ask Kylie and we ask Ajit? Tell me one drop. Ajit, you go first, or ladies go first. Let's go. Kylie, you go first.
You're gonna drop wide and outside.
Drop means there's a defense. You want to receive a drop, right? Okay, Ajit, what is the other drop?
It could mean like to tell your next line of players, like the midfielders, to drop.
Exactly.
Like
As a
your
team, let's
outside
drop,
mid.
drop, because they're coming fast. The other team is coming fast. So you're gonna have to say drop. So obviously we don't have the ball. So the key word, guys, if you want to write these down, it's critical. I think it's very good. So when you say drop, when you don't have the ball, when the other team has the ball, you're saying drop. That's a communication to your whole team that we need to start dropping as a team. Defense needs to drop as a team. Midfield needs to come back as a team. Start compact. That's the key word. That's the cue for drop when you don't have the ball. But when you have the ball, when you have the possession of the ball, when you're screaming drop, that means you want the defender, I mean the midfield or defender, to drop the ball to you because you see something better, right? Or you see them there in trouble and you're asking them to drop the ball. You're asking them to drop the ball so you can get them out of trouble. Because if they're in high pressure and they're trying to dribble and there's a problem there, you feel like you see one player and then another player coming, you're like, even if he beats the first one, that's going to be a problem. So I want him to drop to me. In that way, we can get the ball out and we don't have to risk that losing the ball in a bad spot. Because coming out of defense, when you're possessing the ball, when coming out of defense, is literally the worst time to lose the ball. Like you do not want to do that. Absolutely not. Because that's the easiest. Like most goals happens when the defense is coming out of defense or midfield is building up. While you're building up the attack in transition, you lost the ball, and that's the easiest way to get scored on because your defense is not set, your goalie is not ready, your midfield is not ready, and you get caught off guard, and that's exactly why you don't want to risk it. So keyword drop
so embarrassing.
is critical there. All right. Do you guys understand that? Yes, no, maybe so.
I have a question, Coach.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say your midfielder is facing your own goal and you as a defender have the ball. Is there any best way to communicate where the pressure is coming from? Like, if I'm passing to the midfielder's feet, I could like point in a direction that the pressure is coming. I see that sometimes.
On your left, on your right. So Manon, right? Manon on your right. The bottom line is you can also lead them to,
Space. Pass into the space away from the pressure.
The communication needs to happen in an immediate thing. So you can't have a lot of long communications. So if you see something that is going to be happening immediately, the moment you pass the ball to that midfielder, I think ask it back. Step up and ask the ball back so he can drop it to you because you can see better options.
Okay.
That will be the quickest way to not make a mistake. But if you see a player coming from his left, on your left, so he knows that he's coming from his left. So, but you need to be thinking quick there. That's the thing. So if you say on your left and he thinks that you mean his, or you make a mistake calling your left instead of his left, that could be confusing too, right? But if you guys communicate well enough in practice and really like get going on that, like on your left, oh, he means here. Okay, I'm gonna go this way then. But that's really like a tricky thing. So when you know the pressure is coming that quickly to you, I would say that ask the ball back at you because you obviously see better options, right? That's why if you realize every time I play with you guys, I drop it back to the player. The center mid passes the ball to me. I know there's a player behind me. I drop it one touch back because the player is deeper, sees a better option than me because I don't know what's happening behind me, right? All I know is somebody's coming at me. So it's a good thing to communicate that. Ajit, does that answer your question?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Anybody else have a question about this? Okay. So Manon, obviously this is a common thing. We don't have to really explain deep into it. There's a Manon. We talked about this in the keeper section too. Especially in defense, is critical. Don't play around with the ball, especially when somebody says man on to you. There's a pressure coming to you. Pressure coming is a good communication too. Those are critical that you do not want to play around with the ball because you'll be the cause of the goal if you do. So if somebody says, like this is another one I didn't write here, but I mentioned it. You have time, you have space, right? Those things, when you hear that, there is no reason for you to panic and kick a long ball. You need to just see what's the best options are. You have time to think about it. You have time to dribble through it. You got a lot of good decisions you can make. But a lot of times our defenders assume that they're under pressure So they do a boot ball, and we lose the possession right away. But if you guys communicate with each other, that's gonna actually help. Okay. All right. Does that-
Or when people are quiet, defenders, you get nervous already because you don't
Yeah.
know if you have pressure. So that is huge communication for your teammates, either time or man on, one or the other, right?
And it's a big problem.
It's a big problem.
Huge problem. All right. Next one. Let's see. Midfield. So we talked about some of these through ball between two players. This is a problem for me as a player. When I play with you guys, I like to see these things. This is one of the reasons I like playing with you guys, even though I'm a broken knees guy. I enjoy it. Not just I enjoy the game, but I get to see a lot of stuff, and I get to yell at you guys about those little details that I see from your game. When a player has the ball and dribbling, if there's two players in front of him, one person has to show up to that through ball. Like, because that's the easiest way to penetrate the defense and mess him up, completely mess him up. Because then the two guys only will be getting to the center, compact, and the other guys on the guy is going to get compact. So that guy who's receiving the ball, forward or center mid, has a lot more space going wide. Does that make sense? And it's messing up the defensive shape. And that can do through ball. And asking for a through ball can be an immediate danger for a forward. He's making a diagonal run. Forward or asks through. And the center mid releases the ball between two players, and he's one-on-one with the keeper, and he scores a goal. So he just needs to lead the player where the through ball is. Waiting in the through ball too long and asking for the through ball is not as good, but a quick through and you get the ball, that's great. But this needs to, this kind of communication is like through, it needs to happen very immediately. You need to make sure that you respond to it. You hear through. Obviously, if somebody asks for a through, it's in your vision. It's wherever you're facing with the ball between two players, between a gap. So that's what you're going to be going for when somebody says that to you. Any comment about that? Anybody want to say anything about that? True?
Yeah, I'll say something. Yeah, I think, you know, we use it a lot in practice, but at the same time, it's only there sometimes for a half a second, and then they wait too long, and then it's not there anymore. You know what I mean? And so getting your head up, and we talked about this with the girls, getting your head up and seeing where the ball is and finding the pass as I'm receiving the ball is crucial so that I am able to play that next pass before I have pressure, you know?
Yeah. And we will be talking about this a little bit more later, but when you ask for a through ball and it's not giving in the 2 seconds, right? Just don't pass that ball anymore. Just don't, please don't. It's like, I see this in our game sometimes with the older guys and 05 to older boys. They wait too long and then they give it, and then they look at me or somebody else who asked for the ball is, well, you asked for it, I gave it to you. Like, if you wait 5 seconds, by that time you gave it to me, all the other team, like if somebody is communicating, it's not, we don't have like force powers. When we communicate, you're not the only one that can hear me. Obviously, the other team can hear me too. All right, unless I teach you all how to speak Turkish, and we start communicating in Turkish, and that could be hard to catch up. But you know, it's gonna be pretty tough otherwise to communicate and wait and wait and wait and wait for the other team not to respond. They're gonna know. You say true, at that point, pass the ball. You didn't? I said true. I'm saying true. Okay, they're coming now. They're compact now. They're coming, marking me. They're waiting for that moment to pass. Somebody's sneaking behind me. Come on. No more waiting on those. Okay, that's a big deal. Wide is important. You know, we use it for two different things. Anybody want to say? Let's see. Anybody who's an outside mid in here? Where do we say wide? Two different reasons. Somebody step in and say. Whoever plays outside mid, please. When do we use the communication wide? Crickets.
Come on, players. This is for you guys. Come on,
Like
come on, girls.
when you need to switch the ball and either your whole team is clumped on one side of the field and you say wide to open up the field and maybe open up some gaps.
Okay, so wide can we use because we want to open the ball wide, right? Because it's too compact in the middle and there's a player open on the wide right or left wing, right? The second one, anybody knows the second one? I think somebody said something in chat.
Samantha said when you are open and can see an opening of the goal or you see a pass to help a goal.
I'm confused. All right, I'll tell the
I'm
second one.
thinking when she's opening the game. I think it's probably, I think she's thinking opening the game.
All right, step by step, sounds like. Okay, so the other one is you want your player to go wide. So you're asking your center, like outside mid, usually they want to be involved so much, they want to get close, but the other team's defense is already in the middle, already in the center, so you want your outside player to go wider, right? So you yell at him, wide! Because the person who asks for the ball wide or it's somebody else, right? Because like the player with the ball, it's not a communication for the player with the ball. Now, listen to this. If I have the ball, I'm not gonna yell at somebody. I'm gonna pass it. I should pass it wide. But if somebody's already open in the wide, I'm not gonna use that language. Somebody else is gonna tell me that because they don't think I see it, right? But if I have the ball and I'm trying to go wide, but I don't see an option, when I use wide, that means I want you to go wider. I don't know if you guys understand the difference. It's a big difference. So the player with the ball will never say wide where they're gonna pass because they're telling everybody, I'm about to pass it wide, guys. Hello, you know. But no, what when we say wide is like I'm trying to see a wide option and it's not there. Give me that wide option. And sometimes I could use that when I say wide, and I say wide, and then my right mid goes wider, right by the line, and that could open up more space for me because the defenders might open up now, and maybe it opens up space for me to dribble in. Does that make sense? It's critical. All right, we talked about drop. Same, what drop, especially in the wide, is wider to spread out the defense. I am marked or not me. I use not me is quicker, I think. Not me, don't pass to me. Why? Simple.
Helps your teammates know it without them having to see it.
Because I am not available. Somebody's marking me, somebody's close to me. We do not want a player to be passing it to me. Because it's you can see it. Now, I think, okay, this is the thing. Player's perspective, player's thinking process. Okay? But when I say not me, always is a good communication, right? Not me, and the players are like, okay, he's marked, I'm not gonna go that way. But you can also use that not me when you see that your teammate is about to open the game and he's thinking about going to you, or he's looking at you and you know he's about to pass to you, and you know that's not gonna be good for you. Because the guy is about to step to you. That's the second time you say, not me. And that's when you're gonna be loud and demanding. And knowing some of our players, they'd be like, not me. And that cannot be heard from like 5 yards. So if somebody's from 20, 30 yards about to pass to you and you say, not me, and then you're quiet, that's not gonna help you. You guys wanna look good. Each and every one of you guys wanna look good. Some of you guys are smaller. Some of you guys are slower. Some of you guys are big, strong, but not fast, right? So you all have your weaknesses. To be able to shine, communication is gonna make you shine. So, for example, if I'm a little guy and I'm not physical, but I'm skillful, I'm I have good technique, okay? Then I'm gonna like keep using these. I'm gonna be like, drop to me because I'm open. I have nobody on me. Now I got the ball. I open the game. I completed a pass without a problem. And I say I'm marked because you know what's gonna happen if you're marked and somebody passed to you, it's gonna show your weakness physically. If the other player is stronger and bigger than you and faster than you, they're gonna steal the ball. But if you're smarter, you're gonna use that language. You're gonna be not me, or here, or here. Yeah. So that means that you're open. You have a lot of space. You have a lot of time, and that's critical that you use that. If you look at this, like last 20 years, the best team is considered to be Barcelona, right? But not lately. Bayern Munich is the next big thing right now. We're watching Bayern. But if you look at Barcelona, they dominated soccer in the time of 6'4", 6'5" defenders. Like, and we're talking about 5'6", 5'7" midfielders. They dominated. There's a big part of the communication and off the ball movement to be able to dominate. Otherwise, if all these guys being marked by and let themselves get marked by and physically try to fight with everybody, they're not going to be Barcelona. Does that make sense? You just need to be smart enough to stay away from your mark. Like, what makes you a good player is not to win every 50-50 ball, is not to lose the ball. Keep the possession. That's what makes you an outstanding soccer player. I know a lot of you guys think that, oh, I just did nothing to this guy. I scored his goal once. No one cares when it comes to long-term success. If you want to go to the next level, how many passes did you complete? How many assists did you do? Oops, what is this? Juan is, I think, trying to get in. If somebody can message one of the coaches, Juan Figuera is trying to call me. All right. So other one, open the game, switch the ball. It's critical. Usually, the outside player that sees the opening should use that, number one. The defenders should tell the midfielders too, because they can see it. And maybe the opposite side center mid. Because why would we use this if the center mid was already open? So when do we use this open and switch? We're telling the guy who's receiving it that doesn't seem to want to open the game. He's still facing this way. We're just letting him know if somebody's wide open on the other side. Switch the game, open the game, right? It's critical. Over me. When do we use this? There's a couple, maybe 3-4 different ways to use this. Over me.
When you know a high ball is going to be over your head, you can't get to it.
Goal kicks.
So that somebody's behind you. Yeah.
Yep. So we're warning the defense, I'm not winning that header. Over me. You're letting them know. What else? What else?
Dodgy one, I think, just told you that he had to leave. That's why
Okay.
he called you.
Okay. Over me. What else can we use it for?
Could it be in the attack when you've already checked your shoulder, maybe a midfielder or a forward knows that there's an option behind you or over you? You could be communicating to the guy with the ball.
Okay. Yeah. The guy with the ball, let's just say our right mid is about to pass it to me. And I am marked, but I know the left midfield is open. But there's a lot of players behind me. So I'm saying over me. So pass it over me to open the game. Okay. Or a forward is seeing another forward making a run. He's saying over me. Kick it over him. The other forward is making a diagonal run. They can get it. There is a lot of different communications. A lot of different things can be used with this stuff. So, all right, let's go to the next one real quick. Forwards. Through ball. I'm open, right? I'm open. Back post. That's a big one, guys. You know, the best forwards know the back post to center of the goal is the best place to score goals. Those two. Okay, but back post might be more open than you most of the time, right? Because most of the time there's a keeper and a center back in there, so back post is critical. Here, communication of forwards is always important to let them know where your midfielders are. Can this be used for other, you know, players in the field? Yes, of course. Here is very all around communication, but forwards need to use this. Let them know where they want the ball. You know, let them know they're open because they want the ball. People who should be dribbling and who should be risking things is the forwards, right? Man on, not me probably is a good one for them as well. And shoot. So this is a communication that can come from midfield to the forward. You have a shot, take the shot. Or to one forward to another forward. You have a shot, take the shot. Okay.
Can I add
else?
another one?
Yeah.
I think it kind of goes for forwards, but it also goes for all three of them. It goes like check your shoulder. Like if in defense, if the center back is telling the outside center back, you know, check your shoulder, there's a man on, or a midfield in the same instance, you know, you're always telling the other midfield or outside forward or whatever, always check your shoulder, always know where the other defender is, and as a forward too, you always should be checking your shoulder because someone's going to step and steal the ball.
I think that's a good communication for a coach to tell their forwards, to wake them up. Because it might not be a communication that could come from the players all the time, but I think it's a really good communication for Kate, you to say to a forward, because you're seeing that, let's just say in your team, Vinny or Maddie or Selena is going to be receiving the ball, but there's a lot of players coming at him. You see it. So you're like, oh, she's about to receive the ball, but she has no idea what's happening. Check your shoulder. Maddie, check your shoulder. And then she does, and she's like, oh, crap. There's like two players coming from the right side. There is nobody here. So my first touch should go this way. So that's a great one. Okay. All right. Before I go to the next one real quick, I want you guys to tell me, goalies, defense, midfielders, forwards, what are the things that you would add to that? Speak up. I'm getting
Top of the
phone calls.
box. I'd add top of the box.
Top of the box. So you see somebody about to shoot the ball. You're warning them about there's a player in the top of the box. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about? Okay. That's a good one. What else? Brian, are you there? Brian left to the kitchen to make a sandwich.
I would add like force him directional, like force him this way, or yeah.
That's a good one. Individual defending, right? Especially like individual defending. Like don't give him the center. You know, force him outside. Force him outside. Those are good. That's a good one. Well done, Ajit. What else, guys? Is Rafa still here?
Yes, coach, I'm here.
What anything else for any other position you would like our players or yourself to use more? Huh?
I don't know who, she just said it. When she said top of the box, usually I say that when a player who has the goal, and I want him to just pass the ball on top of the box, maybe because I'm here, I'm about to take a shot.
So offensively, You want the ball top of the box because you want to score.
Yes.
Exactly. That's a good one. Do you see that a lot of these communications can be used for a couple different ways? So that doesn't mean it's wrong. You just need to use it at the right moment and for the right transition, attack or defense, right? That's a great one, Marafa. Anybody else? Brian, did
One
you
I
think-
use a lot actually is a release.
Release.
So I use release so many times because people are holding onto the ball too long. They might have made a move and beat a guy. That's fine. You've made the move. You beat the guy. Now pass the ball. So release it. Get rid of it.
Release. For every position. Release. Critical. You have no time. You want to explain why, or you want to just use one word? Like some coaches, I've been to coaches' clinics that they're explaining, you need to tell your player at the game, or you need to tell your teammate, blah, 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 blah. Dude, you don't have time. You can't write Harry Potter at 9 and expect things to happen. Like, you need to make sure that it's going to happen less than a second, right? So you need to be quick wording, maximum maybe 1 or 2 words, and quick words. I'm open. It's even though it's 3, you put them together, right? I'm open. That's okay. Man on, shoot, here. Top of the box is a little bit long. Maybe top. And some people even do it even longer. Outside the box, But quicker you can do it, better for you for communication, for sure. Anybody else want to add anything? Brian, did you finish your sandwich? Brian, are you there? Jeff, that's a lap.
It might be more than one.
All right, I'm checking on players then.
So I'll add just your intensity. Like you said, Dodgy, a lot of our players are quiet. So they might be saying these things, but a player that's not even arm's length away from them can't even hear that. So again, confidence, be louder, and intensity. So if you're really open, right, you want it. You want the ball.
Exactly.
If you're 50-50 open, okay, I'm open. That helps your teammates know the urgency of it.
The urgency is a keyword, big keyword. Urgency, how quickly you want to get rid of it, or how quickly you want things to get done, right? I see Kimberly is here, so I see that Nathan or David might be there. So let's ask David or Nathan, what do you guys think? What do we add language, like communication?
I'm not sure if we said this already, but maybe one touch, because it would make the speed of play faster. And,
Nathan, you just got it, man. That's a great one. Go ahead.
Great.
Do you want to say anything else?
Maybe take your time, because sometimes if you try to go too fast, then you can mess a lot of other things up.
Yep. But the first one was what again, guys? First thing is mentioned.
One touch.
One touch. So one touch is critical. That's like quickly, they want you to, there's so many things going on with that one word. I mean, 2 words, I guess. But it's like more than one thing. So one is we want you to move the ball fast. One touch, we want to move the ball fast. One touch means also you got pressure on you, possibly, right? One touch also represents he's open. He's wide open. So one touch. There's so many things that you can communicate with saying one touch to the player. But number one thing is what I think it was Jeff that said urgency. The urgency of the situation, you create that. That's a great communication. Right after Jeff said that, Nathan, that's a good one. Do we have anything from David?
No, I don't think so.
All right. What about Maddie? Anything you want to add to that?
Wait, this one or Madison Moore?
Any communication like you want to add
Okay.
to?
I keep having connection issues, so I don't know if you already went over this one, but press and cover.
Oh, yeah. Press cover.
Communicating that between people.
Pressure. You know, you can tell that many different ways too. Like you can say press to your player while you're covering that, so you don't have to say more than that, right? Or when you see your players pressing, you say, I got you covered. I got covered. You know, so you can communicate it like that. Or you're the forward and you see there's a problem. Let's just say your outside mid is stepping to this player, but there is nobody covering. So you yell, pressure cover, press cover. So you're letting them know, or you can just tell them, you cover her, you know, the person's name, and then covers Samantha, cover Sam. And that way you can actually achieve that. That's a good one though, Maddie. Well done. All right. Last thing, guys. You're going to laugh when I've showed this, but this is actually a very, very important one. Communication in the bench. This doesn't mean that you're a bench player. When you go in the bench, when you are injured and you came out and you're relaxing and you're about to go back to the game, or you rested, you're about to go back to the game, I want you to listen to this one. So anybody want me to clear this? This is always the way I speak, right? It's Yoda ways of speaking. So any question about any of these, what you don't understand, first of all?
Are these questions you're asking yourself, like in your head, or are you like speaking this out loud and asking someone?
Either way. But most of the time, asking yourself, like, what is my position facing? Like, I am a right mid, and what is my position facing? Like the right mid is facing against me. There's a fast right mid, or left mid, my bad, in your side, and very fast, very skillful, and I'm keep like fighting back and forth. I need to make sure that I'm defending a proper way, or the player is really slow and he's not very active, or she's not very active. She just goes but never comes back. So I'm seeing that as well. So I know I can use that against them. So when you guys sit in the bench and talk to each other about life and school and this and that, social time, I get it, but you're really not making an impact when you go back in the game. You really need to start. You can even say a couple words, talk around, but you got to be answering these questions before you go in the game. So what is my position facing? What are the issues they're facing, right? Why is the coach going to sub this player out? Maybe it's because we're not happy with the player's performance. That's why we need to sub him out, to explain to them too why we're subbing him out. And you need to know when you're going to go take that position, you need to know what you need to do better. You know how many times we yell at a player on the right mid, for example, you need to go deeper. That player is too fast. You need to like not be side by side with him because they're going to take you on. And then the person on the sideline is chatting and stuff. We're like, so you coming out, and we're yelling at that kid, and that you are going in the game and you're doing exactly the same thing because you did not paying attention what was the issue in the first place. So that's critical. Does that make sense? What can I do to make an impact? Now, if we see you start watching the game, this is when these questions comes in hand. Where is our weakness? So our weakness is where you want to stay away from, right? So let's just say our right back, and you don't want to say it out loud, but our right back is a little bit shaky today, missing the balls, not very good with their feet right now. They're struggling, or they have an injury, right? So if you're aware of that, you're not going to drop the ball to them, correct? And you're going to be aware that that's not going to help your team doing that. Where is their weakness? Same thing. What if their left back is not very good, and he's not very fast, and he's not, this and that, and he's not coming back, he's lazy, whatever. And then you can use that against him when you come back, because you can say, I can take that player, you know, or I can pass the ball behind her or him to the forward, and it'll be an easy goal. And what is my team's general plan, right? So what are we doing at that point? Because when we start the game, we have a plan. But during the game, coach can change things. Are you listening to that change, or only the players in the field listening to that change? Because how many times I change the system? I say, we need to attack. We're behind. We're going to do something crazy. We're going to play with 2 defenders, 5 midfielders, 3 forwards. And I say that, and this is, and I'm telling my team, at that point, you can't possess the ball because we're stepping high. We're going to keep the ball up there. So I'm telling them more direct, right? And then I sub out a player because he's tired, and new player comes in. He wants to dribble. He wants to do, hey, this is our game plan. It's not our game plan anymore. That's not what we're doing right now at this point. So when you're in the bench, if you want to spend less time in the bench, then make the most out of the bench. Get in the game. Bench doesn't mean you're out of the game. Bench doesn't mean you're off the game. Bench means you're there, wait for your chance to make an impact, and give me a reason not to put you back in the bench again. And sometimes, obviously, you're going to go back in the bench because you're tired, and or tactical changes, right? We can do that. Not always you're going in the bench because you did something bad. You guys need to be aware of that. Coaches does not always, and parents, coaches does not just sub you out for that reason. Okay? Sometimes it's tactical call. Sometimes we need somebody different style to face the player on that side, or we just need to possess the ball. Maybe our strongest player is not needed there. We need somebody who's going to play more simple and do long balls, or more technical, and we don't need the speed anymore, whatever. So it's not always you get subbed out for that. But how many times you ask yourself these questions in the bench? And I'm telling you, at the pro level, players are doing this. What can I do? If I get paid by game, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to play as much as I can. So I'm going to make an impact. If I'm in the bench right now, I'm going to go in there, make an impact. Yes, you don't get paid, but that's the winning attitude. We want to be the best that we can. You might not make it pro. Some of you guys will, some of you guys won't. But the bottom line is, it's a life lesson, right? We do not satisfy ourselves with simple things. We want to push ourselves for the best we can, every single thing we do. So these are good questions. And this is a good life lesson for you guys. There is things in life, people are going to put you in the bench. Don't give up. Don't give up. Let it motivate you. Let you watch, because trust me, the person who took your job, you're watching their mistakes now. You're seeing what the boss is saying to them. They're not going to be happy always with them. You watch, you wait, you see those weaknesses, you see the strengths, you see what you're supposed to do to be hired at that player or that person, and the job. And you got it. That's it. You visualize, you see it, you analyze, you collect data, and you do better. Guys, thank you. I feel like this was a great session. Thanks to our coaches too. Thanks for you guys. Great questions, great additions. I thought that this was an important subject to cover. I wasn't going to do today, but I'm glad I did it. I recorded this, and I'll share it in our YouTube page as well. Thank you, guys. Anything you want to say?
Thanks, Audrey. Thanks for the players that were involved and actually spoke up.
And
Keep
I
going.
hope let's share with the coaches. This was a good one to share with your players. All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.